Hi, I'm Gracie, and this is Scott from Small Worlds, Big Adventures. And today, we're not reviewing anything.
Not really, no.
We have finished our 31 game reviews of Spooktober horror board games. And we thought we would cap off the whole month with discussing kind of our thoughts, our top fives, each of us. But first, we want to thank you guys. It has been a long journey. And we've had so many people watch the videos and comment on the videos, and we really, really appreciate that. Halloween is our favorite holiday, and we fudging love board games.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about doing this for a long time, and so to have done it and completed it, it's nice. Yeah. It's the end of the month, and as promised, we are giving away a brand new copy of Horrified right here. One of our favorite games throughout the month.
Congratulations to
At Sim Open. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
But to kick it off, let's talk about the two games that we would each want to give more time to retry, give them a rehabilitation arc.
Yeah, going through this was a good opportunity to play games that we haven't played very often in our collection or haven't played in quite a while. I mean, some of these games
been years since we played.
More than years, some of them close to a decade that have been played. They just don't hit our rotation very often for some reason, or the theming feels weird for the people that we play with, or we just kind of don't like it that much. But having replayed some of these, while they won't be a top five or even like a regular thing, we feel that they deserve maybe another chance to either try out if they have a campaign or something, or some extra stuff. So hitting that, my first revisit, and I think it's on both our lists, or did you make your list different? Okay. Is Grindhouse.
Oh, yeah. No, it's on mine too.
It is. So we decided to do two each, but I think it's going to go over a little bit in that. I don't think either of us like Grindhouse.
No, it's not like a yes.
But, but we've mostly only been able to play it with three people up until really now, and we played it with four,
which was better
just the other day. Yeah, and four is decidedly better than three, much better than two.
Yeah,
and our hope is, I believe it goes up to 6.
I think so. Yep,
is to play it with 6 at some point, because then the choices that are being done are more impactful and more interesting. We played with just one of the nicest people we played with.
Oh my gosh, she's so nice.
And she just turned around and betrayed Grace.
Every time.
And it was a hilarious, wonderful moment of playing that game. And like, if every game was like that, I think I would have liked the game more.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It just basically doesn't play well at a lower number.
Yeah.
And so revisiting it, I'd love to play it a couple more times at 5 or 6 players.
No, I totally feel that. There's a lot of things about that game that like are appealing to me. I love the art. I like that kind of like dark romp on like a classic horror trope. So like there's a lot of things that make me feel like I should like it. And playing with our friend and having 4 people, that was the most enjoyable it's been.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some interesting moral quandaries as you're kind of going through of, do you betray people? Do you not betray people? You have a specific character with specific goals, so you kind of have to weigh that into those choices too. So there's some interesting stuff there. Yeah. It just, we've not been able to play it at higher levels, and as a result, the game hasn't been fun. Even at higher levels, it's not going to be one I can already tell. One
for sure.
I'm just going back too much, but I do want to give it a chance to add that. So that's one I think we want to revisit. Soon.
The other one on my retry list is Together, Zombies and Humans. I feel like both of those games were kind of like middle, almost to low on our list. Like they were not unenjoyable, but they weren't as fun as they could be. And I think by exploring those games in conjunction, because they do play together, and kind of with the other expansions too, there's the potential that will be better and more enjoyable. It could also just be a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I think given that there's so many expansions, there wouldn't be that many expansions if it weren't for a reason.
Yep.
So I would love to just like give them a chance to shine.
Yeah, and we've discussed that. I think even mentioned it in the videos that we did, was that we are trying to plan a afternoon where we can get at least 4 people together to basically run through all the expansions, and maybe recording it and posting it on our site. So look out for that. I don't disagree with you. It is something that I would like to put some time in, just because there is kind of so much to it, and kind of see if adding kind of more meat to those thin zombie bones, if it makes it a better game, or if I come away from it going, this was an afternoon I spent doing this.
Yeah.
So
totally fair.
Good choice.
What's on your list?
So Skeptics.
Yeah.
It's a game that we, for our reviews, kind of ravaged, I think.
Oh, for sure.
But there's a campaign there with a bunch of different ghosts.
That's fair.
While I don't think there's a chance that we'll actually go back and do that anytime soon, I kind of would like to go through and kind of see how the different ghosts play. My guess is honestly not that differently, but without having actually done it, there's a lot of game there that we just haven't actually seen.
Yeah.
So at some point, I wouldn't mind going through and trying to kind of push through and play a good chunk of that. There's the other side of the map, which is a whole different building. So that I put that on my revisit list.
Yeah. I think, and we haven't really touched on this, like when people build games where there's like multiple scenarios, a campaign and whatnot, there's this balance they have to navigate of like, the first one, you have to be able to learn the game without too much complexity. But that can also mean that it's the literal worst scenario. You're always talking about Last Night on Earth. Yeah. And how like the worst one is the most boring one.
The introductory mission to that is just bland. Yeah. And I think, I mean, you said you don't like the game.
I do not.
You don't like zombies anyways. Yeah. So, there's that. But it just, that first one is bland and not very exciting.
Yeah.
That is kind of like an honorable mention. I'd love to be able to play through like the different missions of that at some point, but not going to hold my breath at this point. So that doesn't make my list. My thing with Skeptics is, like, I've read through the rules and I've read through like what the other ghosts kind of do and don't do. And my issue with that game, and I think our issue is honestly is kind of the basic gameplay of it. I don't think the ghosts are going to change that enough to actually make that really fun for us anyways.
For sure.
And so it is on my list, but I'm more interested in doing zombies and Grindhouse. So
no, I feel you with Skeptics. Like, it's one of those, like, it feels on the verge of being enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
But some of the dynamics, at least that come out in that first scenario, aren't the greatest.
After playing it again recently, I do kind of just want to give it another chance with like the other stuff that's in there, but I don't hold a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Is, I guess, the thing for that.
Totally fair. Now that we talked about the ones that we would like to give another try, let's talk about what we view as the must-haves. Like, you should just have these on your shelf regardless. Now, keep in mind, these are not necessarily our top 5,
right?
But because of cost and the general like enjoyability of playing it, you should have these. Yeah. So, what is your number 1?
So, my number 1 is Kill Dr. Lucky.
Me too.
And that's an easy number 1 to make this too. We've broken that game out numerous times for people who aren't into some of the deeper, harder games. For the longer games, it's an easy one to break out when, we've got more than 5 people and we're not quite sure what we can play, and we don't want to play another party game like Cards Against Humanity or Tribal Trolley. This is a great game. It works pretty good at higher than 5.
It does.
Which is great. It still doesn't take too long to play.
No.
Eventually you'll run through the stopping cards and somebody will get in and the game's over. The game's not that expensive.
No.
The game is fairly simple, so it's a really good gateway game for new players. It's kind of got a tongue-in-cheek, funny thing. If you're not offended by we're all trying to kill this guy, then it's good. It really is a game that you should have on your shelf.
Totally. I 100% agree. I think right now on Amazon it's roughly $40, which is a great price. It's one of those games that, like, it's fun to play, it's easy to learn. But then like the theming and the art of it, I just really enjoy. Like it's a beautiful game on top of being an enjoyable game.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this or may have forgotten. The game version we have anyways, there's 3 different scenarios.
Yeah.
You have Dr. Lucky's dog, which runs around, and you can't, it basically, you can't kill him near the dog, so it makes the game a little harder. I forget what the other scenario is. There's another one in there. So there's even multiple ways to play. We don't usually play those because usually when we're playing it, we're playing with new people. But, but there's even that. It's not even just, here's the game. There's actually more there too. So
absolutely. What is your second must-have?
So looking through the list of games we did for Spooktober, I had a really hard time coming up for what I felt was a must-have on your shelf. From these games. I love a lot of these games. I enjoy most of them. But most of them aren't must-haves. A lot of them are complex. Some of the most complex games we have.
For sure.
Some of them are some of the longest games we have. And those generally I would not say are must-haves that you need to have on your shelf. Dr. Lucky breaks that by, it's kind of cheap, it's easy to play, it's generally pretty quick. And it's a great
gateway game.
That pause will be edited out. It's great. And that's kind of what, when I'm looking at a game that I feel like is a must-have, generally that's what I'm looking for those things or pretty close to it. But I had a really hard time choosing a second one that I felt hit all that criteria, but I still felt like I needed a second game. And
because I told him he needed to.
Yes, I needed to. And honestly, I feel comfortable saying this is a must-have after really kind of thinking about it. The complaint for this is it's maybe not the best gateway game, and it's not simple. It's not too complex, but Villainous. I feel like Villainous is probably a must-have. It's not that expensive even for the base game. The game plays well and is a lot of fun. It's a little on the complex side to be a gateway game, but it is Disney, which makes it a lot easier to say, "Hey, would you like to play?
You want to do this?
One of the Disney villains and trick somebody into playing." So it kind of is a gateway game in the sense that it's probably easier to get people to play that, but it is going to be a little complex for people who aren't ready for some of these harder games. It may take them a game or two if they're willing to put in the time to play it before they kind of really get in there and maybe get kind of what's going on. But that aside, I do feel like it's a good option for a must-have. Yeah,
I definitely can see that reasoning, and I don't think it's flawed. Having said that, my second must-have is Let's Summon Demons. The reason for this, one, is I just can't get past just how fun the theming of it is. And again, I know this is not for everyone.
No.
But I suspect if you've been on this journey with us, it's probably for you. But it's cheap. It's like 20-ish bucks. It plays real quick, and it's just a good time. Nightcap, start of the game night, whatever it is. You can whip it out, get a few games in, get in the right mood, and then you're done.
It works good as both a nightcap or an hors d'oeuvre.
That's right. Sure. Exactly. So yeah, and then like again, the art style is just this really neat Stephen Rhodes art style, and $20, you just can't beat it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, and with that, we are going to talk about our top fives.
Fives. Now this is just top 5 games from the Spooktober games that we have reviewed over the last month.
We do have other horror games that we haven't reviewed.
We have other games that I would put certainly on my top 5 that would kick some of these out.
Totally fair. And honestly, we should talk about the honorable mention first, because it would have been in our Spooktober videos, but we did it earlier in the year.
Because we kickstarted it and we reviewed it basically as soon as we got it, played it.
And I think had it been in the month, it probably would have easily been top 1 or 2 for either of us. And that is My Father's Work.
My Father's Work. It is, top 1 or 2 board games of all time for me right now, probably. Excellent game.
So good.
Check out our review. You can.
It will be linked below.
Down there. It's a great Spooktober game. It just, we had already reviewed it. I think we even have a walkthrough.
We do.
Play the game. I don't know if I can say this is a must-have for your shelf.
Oh my god!
But I cannot endorse the game
highly
enough. It is an exciting, fun romp every time we've played. I'm looking forward. Hopefully, they're going to do some expansions to it. I believe I saw something on that not too long ago, or maybe that was a dream. I don't remember. But yes, easy runner-up. And not here just because it wasn't done for the Spooktober thing for us. Is my father's work.
Yeah. But on to the real top 5 of videos we did review this month. So kicking off with number 5, 5th place for me is Cult of the Deep. It is not an Arkham horror game, but it is in that theming, and I enjoy it a lot.
It feels Lovecraftian.
It does. Yeah, sure. And with the hidden role aspects, it adds this nice competitiveness with your peers while also being cooperative.
Yeah.
What about you?
My number 5 is Fury of Dracula. This is a game that I have loved since I got it. I've really enjoyed pretty much every game I've played. Occasionally, if I'm playing Dracula and the players are doing really poorly, I feel bad for my opponents.
That's fair.
And then that game's sometimes not so great, but I just really enjoy the game, and I've had a lot of fun playing as Dracula.
Yeah. So Desmond, who was in one of our reviews this month, our son
at college now.
Was kind enough to send us his top 5, and so his 5th place one is Last Night on Earth.
Yeah. He likes the zombie stuff. He likes the antagonism of some players get to play zombies and some players get to play humans.
And unlike me, he has played different scenarios.
He has played some different scenarios. He, I think, just loves running around until he can find a gun and start gunning down zombies. So,
oh my god, he loves finding guns.
He really likes that. So,
all right. What is your number 4?
Arkham Horror 3rd Edition. Yeah. I really love this game. I'm a little surprised it's not higher on my list, but honestly, there's some really good games in this list that I like a little higher. I love H.P. Lovecraft's kind of world and the Cthulhu mythos, and I really like Fantasy Flight's kind of take on that, and a lot of the games they've done, honestly. And this is a really good version of that. It's really fun to play. I've played. It scales up pretty good. But I've played a bunch of this with Desmond.
Yes.
With just the 2 of us, even with 2 people, it's a fun play.
Yeah. Speaking of Desmond, Desmond's is also in 4th place, Arkham Horror 3rd Edition.
Yep.
So all that time you guys spent together apparently paid off well for that review.
Yep.
I, on the other hand, my 4th place is Dead of Winter. This is the only zombie game on my top 5. But in my opinion, while there's zombies, it's not at heart a zombie game. It's really like a decision-based game, ethical, also like you have the hidden role aspect, and the narrative of it is really, really good. Yeah. So it's one that I would be happy to play again and again and again.
It is a great game. It is a disappointment that they have not done expansions to it. Because it feels like a game that is built for that.
Yeah.
But honestly, even without that, there is a lot of game there for what you're getting. There's a ton of the Crossroads cards, a ton of characters. Every game plays out very differently than the last. So yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah. Going off of that, Dead of Winter is Desmond's 3rd choice.
This is 3rd. He really enjoys that. We've played a number of just 2-player games with that with me and him. It's a good choice. It's a really good game.
Yeah. And as you can see, Desmond did not inherit my disinterest in zombies.
No. There's a lot of zombies on this list.
He's got a lot of zombies. What is your 3rd choice?
My 3rd choice is Eldritch Horror.
Yeah.
Another Fantasy Flight, H.P. Lovecraft themed game. Probably my favorite of theirs currently in their current game setup. The only game of theirs I think we have not gotten yet is Mansion of Madness.
Yep.
So I can't say to that we don't own it.
Okay.
You can look all you want. We don't own that one. I know that for a fact. This is probably my favorite of Fantasy Flight. I mean, really of any of the H.P. Lovecraft themed games, but of theirs specifically. I just really love the globetrotting aspect of the game. It feels like some of his more sweeping stories. The theming in it works really well. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. My third one is Horrified. We're giving away the traditional version. It's got Frankenstein,
the Universal
Dracula.
Monsters.
Yes,
I believe is what it's supposed to be.
And honestly, both of these games fairly equal. The one I specifically would put in third place is American Monsters.
Cryptids.
Cryptids, yeah. I definitely referred to it as the Cryptids one in our video, but it is called American Monsters.
Yeah, American Monsters.
Just because it's a fun twist. You don't see a lot of cryptid board games.
Yeah.
But it plays very similarly.
Yeah.
If you get either one, you'll be thrilled. It's the ability to have a simple game you can introduce people to, and then have a more complex game when you want it.
Yep.
And then just like characters that you've known and grown up with is just really nice.
These games are a hidden gem.
Oh,
they are a delight.
Yeah.
They were they punch much higher than their weight. A lot better than I expected when I got the first Horrified as a present. I thought, well, I'll read the instructions and play this out of politeness because somebody bought this for me. But by the time I was done reading the instructions, I was sold,
so excited. Yeah.
And by the time we played it, it was amazing.
Yeah.
The good choice.
Yeah. Going into my second, it is a game we have already talked about, and that is Kill Dr. Lucky.
Yep.
Again, it hits that right niche of like fun competitiveness, tongue-in-cheek, kind of dark humor.
Yeah.
And beautiful artistry. And like, you grow up playing Clue, and now you can be the murderer.
Yeah.
And I just love that.
You talk about the competitiveness, and one of the things I really like about the game is sometimes when you're playing what is essentially an antagonistic game, which isn't quite that.
It's not quite that, because I don't like an antagonist.
But you do have to stop the other people from winning so that you can win.
Yeah.
But it's generally not one person stopping you. Everybody kind of has to chip in. So it's not even just like one-on-one competitiveness. It's, well, this is how the game's going. So you don't generally feel bad that this is what happens.
No, it's not everyone's ganging up on you. It's everyone's ganging up on everyone.
Right, exactly.
And while you're getting screwed over this turn, you're going to be screwing someone else over next turn.
Yep.
But yeah, just a solid choice. What is your number two?
My number two is Space Hulk.
Okay.
It's a game that me and Desmond have played a bunch, which I really enjoy. It's a game I got when I was in my teens.
Yeah.
And I got it for Christmas and spent the entire Christmas break playing it with my best friend at the time, who just kept spending the night over and over again so we could play the game all day. It's a fun Warhammer 40K game. It kind of feels like the movie Aliens, where you've got a group of Marines that are fighting these horrible bug aliens that are going through the ship, and I've just really enjoyed pretty much every game.
Yeah. I have never played it. I will never play it.
Yeah.
But I do value, just like you and Desmond have spent countless hours playing that game. And to see you guys bond over it has just been a really nice experience for me. Good. So I'm glad it exists. I'm also glad I'll never have to play it.
I won't force you to play it.
Desmond's number two is Betrayal Legacy. So that is the campaign version of Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Yep.
I think in general, Betrayal at House on the Hill, we did not technically review it.
Yeah.
But it would probably be pretty high up for all of us.
Yeah. Desmond's number one is Space Hulk, so apparently he really had a lot of fun playing with his old dad.
He literally wanted to steal it and take it to college with him.
Yeah. So weirdly with this one, it tends to be a limited run by Games Workshop. They tend to do a new run every few years. So it's kind of really hard to find copies of the game. So I was not willing to let him take off with mine. And
currently, to get a copy from like eBay or something, it's like $200.
Yeah, so hopefully they do another run soon.
Yeah.
My understanding anyways is anytime they do one, it runs, like it sells out super quick. So it seems to be just a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can get a copy at some point.
We'll certainly try to help them.
I'm sure if he sees one, he will get it as soon as he can. But it's not a bad choice for number one.
No. And we agree on our number ones.
Yeah. Betrayal Legacy.
Oh my God. Betrayal Legacy.
Again, if it was just Betrayal at House on the Hill, I'm not sure it'd make it to my top five, to be honest with you. And So for me, anyways, this is specifically the Betrayal Legacy.
Yeah.
Playing the campaign with the people we played it in was
cherished.
and will be a cherished memory for me. One of my favorite gaming moments of the time, spread out over basically 6 months or however long it took us to finish that. There are so many good moments in playing that campaign that it's hard to pick out any that really shine above a lot of others.
Because they all shine well.
But also don't want to give away things that happen in the campaign, because there are some really exciting, fun surprises through that campaign. If you ever want to try a legacy game, this is it.
This is the one. Yeah.
This is the one to try. The game ends up being Betrayal at House of the Hill, which is a good, solid game.
Yeah.
But when I compare this specific version that I played versus all the rest of this Spooktober month's games, this comes out as this comes out as number one for me, and isn't even close. In honestly,
not at all.
Just because that campaign experience was so great.
Yeah, it's one of those things of so often with a board game, it is a fun time killer, if you will. Where this one is really an experience. You take these moments to create a world together in a way that tabletop gaming, I think, does. That I think board games don't always hit.
Yeah.
And I know there's kind of a cost with it, and it's on a front right now, and there's a time commitment with it. But it's one of those that if you put in the time and you have the right group, you will walk away with this cherished memory that you built together with your friends. And then you also have a board game that is an iconic board game that you guys made together.
Yeah. It is telling that every time we finished a chapter and then did not have time to play another chapter, everyone was disappointed.
So disappointed.
And more than one time, I'm pretty sure we pushed that night further than we probably should have as far as sleep goes to play just one more chapter. The chapters all play quick.
Yeah.
Betrayal at House on the Hill tends to be a pretty quick game most of the time too, and these were pretty quick as well. But yeah, every time we had to stop playing, it was always a disappointment. Everybody wanted to go one more chapter.
Yeah, for sure. These are our favorites. And we hope along the way you were able to play some of these or they've made your list of games to play. We would love to hear what your top 5 games are from the month below, whether it's top 5 that you have played or top 5 that you want to play. So let us know down below. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey. If you liked this series, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more game reviews, but not for a while, walkthroughs, tabletop DIYs, and things like that, you can hit subscribe. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified next time we upload, which will be Sunday.
She says not for a while, but we've got a Kickstarter game coming pretty soon.
Oh my God, we do.
We'll probably review that when we get it.
Our channel could just so easily be just like Kickstarter games.
Just about.
But we're more than that.
Yeah.
But we'll see you next time.